Hi, Maddie. Nice
Hi,
to meet you.
Spencer. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so before we get started for today, I'm just going to have you fill out this consent form. I just kind of told you some of my background, my specialty, my general guidelines, and my confidentiality. To start off with my background, I graduated from UK in 2019. I have a bachelor in family and sciences and a minor in political science. I have been a therapist for about a year. My my specialty is a substance abuse therapist. I'm sure you saw that when you looked me up, trying to find a therapist in this city.
Mm-hmm.
My general guidelines is we meet for an hour every 1 to 2 weeks. It's $150 a meeting. We set our rules or boundaries in the beginning of the meeting so we can discuss that when we're done going through this.
Okay.
And I have a firm rule that we have no relationship outside of our meeting. So, like, if we see each other in public, like, we can say hi to each other, but we don't want, like, it to be known that I'm helping you.
Okay.
And for confidentiality, everything will stay between us, except if we talk about neglect, abuse, or if you threaten to harm yourself or others.
Okay.
So we just want to sign on there at the bottom. Okay, so what brings you in today?
I'm here because I've been dealing with substance abuse lately. And it's kind of just a general problem because I have a very addictive personality.
Okay.
And I was hoping we could maybe work through those problems.
Okay, I feel you. I've had a lot of friends in the past who have dealt with things similar to this, and before I became a therapist, I helped them kind of get through it. I also dealt with similar issues and had to get over it as the years went on.
Okay.
Yeah, so I feel like I would be a good suit for you when it comes to helping you figure all this out.
Awesome.
What should be our rules and boundaries that go with these meetings?
I don't know. I'm not too sensitive a person, I guess. So
Okay. So
I'm
kind of
really open to talking about everything and exploring all options.
so we could just kind of go with the flow and see where the meeting takes us.
Sure.
Okay. I feel like normally at the beginning of each meeting we could kind of just start out with talking about just like your past few weeks and if anything upset you and triggered anything that made you feel the need to continue your substance abuse, and then we can kind of just really dive deep into it and then figure out like the key issues that happened that like made that happen, like the underlying problem. And then at the end of each session I will give you a 5-minute warning so we don't like get into anything else that's too serious.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay. Before we get started, how long have you been dealing with substance abuse?
I'd say about a little over 2 years, depending on what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And do you know what started it?
I guess I just got introduced to it and used it as a way to cope with stress or
Okay.
just as something to do.
Okay. Do you believe that like your substance abuse is like a cover up for any other issues, or you think it's just like its own issue in itself?
Well, with the nicotine, it's become just its own issue itself. With other things like biting my nails or
Mm-hmm.
I guess just stuff with nails and hands,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe that could be closer related to like stress.
Mm-hmm.
And
My little sister struggled with nail biting when she was growing older and going through school. I definitely think that stemmed from stress and just like anxiety of like just going through like new phases in life. So is this a transition period for you?
I guess so, and I would think that it'd be really easy to stop, but it's not.
Mm-hmm. I know something that worked for her was some nail polish stuff you buy on Amazon. Like makes it taste really bad.
Mm. Yeah.
So I don't know, something you could look into for sure. Okay, so what brought you in today was substance abuse, and kind of just based off our opening, I'm understanding that you feel like you're unable to stop just because you've just kind of been hooked for so long.
Right.
You like nothing else to like turn to.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel knowing that you
I mean, I
can't
don't
get
feel
away
that
from
bad
it?
about it, but just because I know that at least to stop in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
it really sucks and it's not easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just easier to keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm to stop. So I'm kind of hearing you feel like trapped with it,
Sure.
like strapping lifestyle. Yeah. Are you surrounded by people who do it a lot?
Oh, yeah. It's another thing.
Do you think that could be an issue?
I think it definitely adds an impact or makes it harder to forget about.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I definitely think like being around people who do the same habits that you have, good or bad, definitely encourages you to continue doing them and definitely makes it harder to stop doing them. Um, so when it comes to nail biting and stress and anxiety, do you think that um, you started nicotine to help cope with that?
Um, yeah, and slowly it just became, I guess, a social thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then before anyone knew it, we were all just doing it just because. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. It's definitely hard to get away from things once you start them, but I'm sensing that you feel kind of just like stuck in what you're doing right now and unable to get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think you could do? What would you think would be a good way to stop your usage?
I guess to slowly wean off of it just to make it easier on
Mm-hmm.
my body and myself, like in terms of withdrawals.
Have you tried stopping before?
Yes, but it didn't go that well
So,
because
did you just
it was
completely
cold
cut it
turkey.
out? Yeah. So I'm hearing you feel maybe a little scared to stop using again just
Yeah.
because of how it went the first time.
Yeah, I don't want to feel bad for 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, whatever the time is. Well, normally when you go through withdrawals, it normally does last a week or two just because your body's getting used to functioning again without um, the substance you've been using for so long. So I feel like if I could recommend anything to you, it would be to not go cold turkey because I don't want you to have to go through that again. But maybe trying like a nicotine patch, maybe just like hitting it at night when you're in bed for a few weeks, and then trying to like maybe just do it once a day.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried picking up any hobbies besides smoking?
I would say I have other hobbies, but I can just be smoking the whole time during them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really separate it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really separate the two.
So would I be correct to say that you're feeling kind of lost because even when you go do other things, you still have this like need to smoke in the back of your head?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'd say so. Okay. Yeah, well, I feel like the fact that you're in here and trying to find ways to quit is a good start to ending a problem that you may have. What would you say the best approach to end this?
I guess it would just be slowly weaning off. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. Besides, I guess buying lower concentrations of nicotine.
Yeah. What concentration are you at?
5%.
5%. So they definitely do have lower ones.
Mm-hmm.
I know like 3% in other countries that have even lower ones because certain percentages are illegal. So you could also try to go lower than 3% eventually.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. What do you do when you bite your nails? Do you just continue biting them until there's nothing left, or do you try to stop yourself?
Yeah, I just bite the nail, and I don't keep biting it, but I don't really have any nails because of that.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I don't even notice myself doing it most of the time. I'll just be sitting there, and then someone will tell me to stop, or I'll be driving and just zone out.
So I'm hearing you feel that you're like unaware
Yeah, I've been biting my nails for a long time too.
Yeah. Okay, so you haven't recently started biting your nails. You've been
Mm-hmm.
biting them for a long time. So do you think that you've just been anxious for a long time and then the nicotine is just in recent years because you've just like discovered a new way to
Yeah,
cope?
I've just picked it up and
Okay.
struggled to put it down.
Yeah. I definitely feel like um, you could try do multiple different things to stop both of your addictions. Do you have any other addictions?
Not really.
No. Little like things that you do all the time.
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Well, like I said before, I do like to warn my patients when there's 5 minutes left in a meeting, just so we don't start anything or start talking about any topics that are serious and we can't conclude them because I like being able to finish what we started at the beginning of each meeting. I would say today we made good progress talking about anxiety and how that has made you start biting your nails and how that's made you start smoking nicotine, how you wish to stop both of them. Something I like to do with my patients is also have them summarize the meaning to me, just so we can kind of see like what their main focal points were, and that we can just kind of go from there next time and see how we are. So if you could summarize it, would you?
I'd say we discussed my addictions or abuse problems and discussed where they came from and why they persisted.
Mm-hmm.
And we discussed ways to quit
Mm-hmm.
or cut down on
Mm-hmm.
using nicotine or biting my nails. And I think we just need to maybe make a plan on how to stop
How to stop that.
slowly.
Do you think in our last few minutes we can make a plan for you for these next week or two? And we can kind of just go from there the next time we meet up and see how it's working.
Sure.
Okay, so what would be your ideal plan?
Well, if I usually smoke 4 pods a week, then I guess I want to cut it down to at least 3 to start.
Mm-hmm. I think that works.
maybe
And how do
2
you
from
think
there.
you would go about that? Would there be like a timing in the day that you would maybe cut out nicotine?
I guess I try my hardest to leave my device behind when I can. Leave it at home or leave it somewhere else in the house so I don't always have it on me for any reason
Yeah, I think
or
that's
for
a good
no
idea.
reason.
And also, I think cutting out like one pod would be a good idea because then you're not like kind of cutting yourself dry and you're still giving yourself some working space to continue to decrease your usage.
Maybe it could work better.
Yeah, and about your nails, what do you think we could do regarding biting?
I guess I can just try and be more conscious about it and not. It's hard because I just do it without thinking about it, but if I can't cut down on it by myself, like raise my awareness of it, then I guess I could try the nail polish that you were talking about.
Do you have someone that you could tell that you're trying to stop biting and they could help remind you? Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea because then sometimes when you're not focused on it, someone else could be. So like they could help you stop and eventually like you could just stop your biting altogether.
I have this beautiful girlfriend. She can probably help.
Oh, I bet she would be great at that. Okay, well, I think altogether we discussed a lot, and I think you feel just like passionate that you're going to be able to do this just because you're here and you're talking through things with someone and you're feeling just like focused on actually achieving this, accomplishing this. So this next week, we're going to try to cut out one pod. We're going to try to stop biting our nails, and we're going to tell someone also tell someone that you're going to try to stop biting so they can help remind you. I think leaving it in your room or your car would be a great idea, or you can choose what it would work best specifically for you. And then next week when we meet, we can see how that goes, and we can go from there, and we can try to maybe add a step into that and see how that works.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Okay, well, it was nice meeting with you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Should we plan to meet for a week or for 2 weeks?
Let's do 2 weeks.
Okay.
Alright.
Sounds good with me.
Alrighty, thank you.